action. Thank you so much for reporting for duty for the Pretty Princess Command Center episode 12, aka a Princess Diaries episode, which arguably are the best episodes because that means the pretty princesses get to write in and we get to all hang out and talk like one big giant group chat, and it is so much fun. And as always, if you want to be an official member of the Pretty Princess Command Center, all you have to do is subscribe. Like, guys, please, come on. Also, if you ever want to write in your own Princess Diary entry, the Google form link is always in the description of all the videos, and then it's also in like the main part of the channel. I don't know what that's called ever. I want to say my bio, but like I don't know what that's called. So without further ado, let's get into this episode, because last episode of Princess Diaries was more like boy focused, relationship focused, and I feel like this one, I've skimmed over the ones we're gonna read, but it feels a little bit more like self-development, girl to girl, you know what I'm saying? Princess to princess, and I feel like it'll be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. Princess Diary entry number 1 of the day says, "Hey, I'm 27. I just moved to a beach town in Florida with my boyfriend and work from home in marketing." Slay. We love that. "I have a lot more free time on my hand and I want to get more into content creation. I really want my content to be meaningful and helpful. Do you have any advice on building a community, creating a niche, and letting my personality shine through?" Amazing, amazing. I literally was just talking to a few people on my Instagram DMs about content creation and stuff like that. And if you watch my main channel, I talk a lot about, you know, just like the ebbs and flows that come with it, just like with anything. One, congrats on the move. That's so exciting. I also live in a small beach town in Florida. I'm not a small beach town gal though, so I can't wait to leave. But I really think just make what makes you happy. Like, I know that sounds so simple, but like, okay, for example, I really don't do my hair a whole lot. Like, it's annoying to me. I'm not the type of girl to like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I started making videos about hair, it would just like kind of burn me out and it wouldn't be authentic, because it would be noticeable through the screen that like I'm not really enjoying what I'm doing. I don't really care to share, and it just is what it is. And also there's another big thing where I feel like there's a balance that, at least for me, when I was first starting out, I was like, well, I want to be like myself and like have my personality come through, but I also want people to think that I'm like, this is gonna sound shallow, but it's the honest truth. Like, I want people to think that I'm like pretty and like aesthetic, because on social media there's such a push for, you know, like, oh, like aesthetic, the clean girl, whatever. And a lot of times, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that show their personality, but like, let's use Emma Chamberlain, for example. I feel like she's the perfect example. When you think of Emma Chamberlain, you're not thinking like clean girl aesthetic. Like, when she first started, you're not thinking like, oh, like this like perfect, prim, proper, whatever, like everything's perfectly perfect all the time. Like, you're literally just thinking like, no, like that's my best friend. Like, you're thinking of somebody that you can watch, you could feel comfortable with, you could sit and rot on the couch with them for hours and hours and hours and have so much fun doing it. And that's kind of what you think of her. But then Louis Vuitton pulls out and is like, yeah, actually she's gonna be like our woman of the hour. Like, she's gonna be the one that we're flying to Paris, we're putting her in designer, we're doing her hair, we're doing her makeup. And like, I think that is like the epitome of like how you need to be so authentic on social media in a way that serves you. So like, for me, for example, I love having my vlog channel. I love sharing my life on there. I don't share every part of my life. I've had a few people, they continuously ask me, they're like, why do you keep Mr. Special private, my boyfriend? Like, why do you keep him private? Why don't you show him? Why don't you say his name? I don't want to. And that's my choice. And if people want to get mad about it, they can get mad about it. But at the end of the day, like, the girlies that are here to hang out with me and like listen to what I have to say, they don't give a fuck that I'm keeping that private, because they're respecting that boundary that I've set for myself. And when I first started on TikTok, and like when I was getting bigger, I guess, on TikTok, like when I was like when my page was growing, I tried doing the fashion thing, like kind of like how everyone else was, and then I realized I was like, I can't do it, because like I can't keep up. Like, I can't buy all the things that all these people are buying. Like, I don't constantly have new hauls of clothes to show everybody. And so I finally was like, okay, well, like, what do I have? What can I do? What have I always done? And it was like styling one piece of clothing multiple ways, because one, when I first started on social media, like really actually trying, nobody was really doing that. Like I'm not gonna say like, oh, I invented this, because obviously it's a very basic concept, but like only like thing you were seeing in the fashion influencer space was very much like, oh, look at this new shirt that I bought, let's style this new dress, let's do this, let's do this. And it's always like new, 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 new. And I was like, why don't we take this one piece and style it in 9 different ways so you fuckers can stop spending so much money, wasting so much clothes, contributing to overconsumption, like all that stuff. That felt good to me at the time. I don't do that anymore because it doesn't feel good anymore. I still like the concept. I still use the concept. Just the style of video that I was making, it doesn't align with me anymore. And when it stopped aligning with me, but I tried forcing it, people could tell. And it was just draining because it's like, I don't want to do this. Like, and I know that's such a privileged thing to say, is like, oh, I don't want to make this video for social media for my job. You know, like I understand that, but you really need to be doing things that make you feel good. And if you're really feeling like stuck, literally just pretend you're making this content specifically for your younger self. Because I feel like a lot of girls that want to get into social media were into social media when they were little. Like I had a YouTube channel when I was 9. I was posting, okay? Like I was editing. I was doing everything. And I remember getting my first PR box from the brand, I don't know if they're still a thing, but it's Influencer. And you basically sign up and you agree to make a video, and like I don't think there was any requirements. I literally remember, I think I was in 7th grade. I had to have been. I was in 6th or 7th grade. I hadn't got my period yet. Like I had not had my first period. And I got sent this little bag of like tampons and pads and panty liners for Tampax to like, okay, like talk, like, you know, maybe influence people on that. I got a Quaker Oats, it was like a banana bread bar, and it actually was so good. Like it was one of the best things I've ever had. I got a Hawaiian Tropic sunscreen that smelled amazing. I remember sitting in my bedroom, my hot pink bedroom, talking about this stuff, and I didn't talk about the like tampons and everything because I was like, no, like I don't want to talk about tampons. Like, you know, I was like young, I don't know, 6th grade, probably 7th grade. I got my period in 7th grade, so it might have been 6th grade. Anyway, but just little stuff like that. I remember getting my first Sol de Janeiro when they first came out. I got sent Brazilian Boom Boom cream when everybody called it Bum Bum cream, but then we all learned it's pronounced Boom Boom. But their first, like, before they had all the scents, it was the original, like the yellow, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, I've always done that. So, and I remember what I liked to watch when I was little, and like I liked, you know, I loved watching Bethany Moda, I loved watching all the vloggers, and I used to think, I was like, oh my gosh, like they're so aesthetic, like I love them so much, like I wish I could be them. And then I didn't have that sense of like I had a sense of comparison, obviously, because when you're like a young girl, like you're 9, 10, 11, 12, obviously you're feeling that sense of comparison, but I feel like I didn't have this sense of like, I can't do that, like that's not who I am. I had this sense of like, oh, like I can make videos too, and that's kind of where I ended the thought process. Whereas as you grow up and get older, you're like, well, I can make videos too, but they're not going to be as good as this one. They're not going to be like that. Like it's not the same as this person, and I wish I was more like that. Like you don't have all of that kind of like thought process going into it when you're younger. But I do specifically remember, like, I don't know, there's just so many little things from like when I was younger that little Kat needs to know, and the only way I can let her know that is through how I act now. And so, for example, best example, the Pretty Princess Command Center. I have never been like a quiet girly, like, oh, I'm just a little, you know, I'm just quiet and I'm prim and I'm proper and I have, you know what I mean? Like I've never been like that. Like I've always been very like, I've been competitive, I've been loud, like I'm not gonna let the boys win. Like, no, we're not gonna just like play dolls at recess because I have to go be the leader of Foursquare. Like, I've always been like that. So I feel like that juxtaposition of like the Pretty Princess Command Center completely encapsulates that energy. I don't know, you just really just like, I don't know how we got on that tangent, but if you can think about your younger self and what she needs to hear, what she needs to see, what she would like be like, oh my gosh, that person is just like me. if you can find that balance in creating content, I really feel like that's like the best way to go about it. Like, don't worry about like, oh, well, this person did this and it worked really well. This person did this and it worked really well. Because look at the amount of different things you see on the internet. And honestly, like, what catches your eye more? Something that you've seen a million other people do, or something that you've never seen before and you're like, wait, holy shit, this is very innovative. I like this. You know what I mean? And also, like, if you're afraid of people seeing it, one, block people. If you don't want people to see it, block them. It doesn't matter. If they confront you about it in real life, just be like, yeah, I blocked almost everybody I knew in real life because, like, I'm trying to pursue this, and for me to go about it in the most authentic way possible, like, I just am not in a place where I can deal with the potential repercussions of people that I actually know in real life seeing my content. Like, I just don't want to deal with that feeling, so that's what I did. And that's it. End of story. Also, you don't need a fancy camera. You don't need whatever. I will say, get a good light from Amazon, like the little clip-on lights that will help your content so much. You don't need to film with your back camera. You can film with your front camera. You can do whatever you want. Just learn it. And also, you have to be consistent. You have to be so consistent. Even now, ever since I changed my like niche, I guess, on TikTok, I have lost hundreds of thousands of followers. My engagement is shit. I don't get the views that I used to get. Like, I've lost so many brand deals. Like, it's such a game. It's such a waiting game, but you have to show up every single day. There's this analogy, and I don't know who first coined it, but I heard it the first time from Russ, the singer. But like, if you're melting an ice cube, like, if you're waiting for an ice cube to melt, it's not gonna melt at 50 degrees. It's not gonna melt at 49. 48, 47, 46, it's not gonna melt until it gets to the degree in which it's gonna melt, which I actually don't know what that is. I want to say it's 32, but I don't know. What degree does ice? 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I was right. It's not gonna melt until 32 degrees. So if you stopped at 34 degrees waiting for the ice cube to melt, you were just 2 degrees away from it finally melting. So you have to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent no matter how annoying it is. I remember one of my first videos that I was like consistently posting. I was posting 3 times a day. I was just like, no, like, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make this work. I remember one of them, it was like probably within like the second month that I had posted or something. It's probably still up on my TikTok page if you scroll all the way down. It got like 9,000 views. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. Everybody go crazy. It's happening. This is amazing. And then like my next video I posted the next day got like 200 views. And I was like, okay, like, it's not happening yet, but that's okay. We are making progress. We are moving in the right direction. It's the same thing. Like, you're not going to go to the gym once and see the results you want to see. You're going to go. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. And that's the thing. Is like, when you go to the gym and you work out and you eat healthy, you know that eventually with that consistency, it will pay off and you will see the results you want to see. You'll see the health benefits. You'll see the aesthetic differences in your body. You'll see the mental health benefits, like everything like that. You know that going into it. You know that doing 30 minutes on the stairs and doing an ab workout and a leg workout won't get you like slim thick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes time, and you keep showing up to the gym every single day even though you haven't seen progress today or tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day. You keep going, and it's the same logic. And for some people it takes so much longer than other people, and I couldn't tell you what the rhyme or reason is. It really is just like, if it hits, it hits. And I think authenticity plays such a big role into that, because once I finally just like said what I wanted to say, and I didn't care about how it was taken, if I upset people, if people are gonna make fun of me, I didn't care. I literally just said exactly what I wanted to say and I posted it, and it performed so well. And then that's how I started growing. I have a friend now, she's a creator, and she's been a creator for about the same time I have been, and I'm not saying this in any means of comparison, but she's been posting, very dedicated, and she's been sitting at about 160,000 followers for the last like 3 years. And she's like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? And like, we've had these conversations, and I'm like, no, your content is good. Like, you could tell how much effort and energy you put into your content, but at the same time, you could tell it's not authentic. And I've had this talk with her before. Like, I've had this exact talk, so don't think I'm like talking shit about one of my friends. Like, I'm not, I swear. We've had this conversation. And I'm like, your content is amazing, but it's not like, it's not you. You're like putting on this persona. And like, I'm not saying you can't put on personas, because like when I was making my styling videos, like I'm not walking around every day being like, yeah, motherfucker, like I'm not doing that. But like, it was authentic energy that I had and I possessed for the videos. So just like little things like that, it's like, even if you think you're being authentic, like it could still come off very inauthentic, very performative. And I think if people see that something's like performative, I guess, they're way less likely to engage in it, because the only thing people are really looking for nowadays with social media is like a person that they feel like they could be best friends with. Like, you want to watch somebody that makes you feel like you could show up at their house today and just sit on the couch, watch a movie, get takeout, have a laugh, talk about whatever. Like, you know what I mean? That's all people are really looking for. It's just like this connection. So if you could really build that up, and you could set boundaries with yourself. Like, I've set boundaries with myself. Like I was saying in the beginning, like, nobody knows Mr. Special. Nobody knows the ins and outs of my life. And like, I would never post my life on TikTok. And that's one of the reasons I started with just fashion. I was like, people could call me ugly, they could call me annoying, they could call my style bad, they could whatever, but they can't have comments about my real life. Because I watch so many TikTokers put their life on the internet and then get fucking clowned for it. Get just like shit, like get on gossip pages and they're like crying the next day. They're like, I don't understand why you guys, like, my mental health is so bad. I'm like, God, yeah, because you're sharing, you're basically telling the internet what you should be telling a therapist. Like, you don't do that on the internet if you want to stay fucking sane, which is how I've been able to stay very sane on the internet. Like, do like annoying comments still get to me sometimes? Like, yeah, of course they do, because like, fuck off if you're gonna be mean to me. Like, literally, what the fuck? Like, I literally, like, if somebody comments something like really rude and just like out of pocket on one of my mutuals posts, I literally will block them, because I'm like, well, if you're gonna say that shit to this person who I love and adore, one, that's rude, I'm gonna block you. Two, you would say it to me too. And that I've always said, like, I can't wait for the day that somebody like makes a video and they're like, oh, well, like, Kat blocked me, and like I get to be like, yeah, and there was a reason, and maybe I can't remember the specific instance. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Sorry that was very long-winded, but I really do enjoy discussing this topic. Also, last thing, anytime you think something is easy, anytime you think something is like, oh, that probably took them 2 seconds, it didn't. It didn't. No matter how effortless this content looks, it's not. And I'm not saying it's hard. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, try being an influencer for a day. It's just like, for example, Vlogmas. I'm doing Vlogmas on my main channel. I tried it 2 years ago and I thought, oh, I could just post. I could just film every day, upload, post. Nope, I think I got 7 days into it, 8 days into it. That was too fucking much. So this year, I have 25 vlogs planned. I have them not scripted, but like planned, like scene 1, scene 2, B-roll, music. I have them planned. So now I could just go into it knowing exactly what I'm gonna film, knowing my filming schedule, my editing schedule, allowing room for like, oh shit, like I got called in to work, I have to cover someone's shift, that kind of stuff. Anything that looks effortless that somebody's like making in a car, if they have a series about it, it's not effortless. They put time and energy into it. They planned it out. And I'm not going to speak for everybody, but like it's not like, the reason it looks so effortless is because of the amount of effort that goes into the back end of it. Those really aesthetic little fucking 5 a.m. vlogs that you see people doing, the tripod gets moved, the angles, the exposure, the lighting, the retakes, oh fuck, I wasn't filming. I have to do my hair all over again. I have to go take all my makeup off and put it back on because I wasn't filming. And I'm not saying this is hard. I'm not saying any influencer deserves like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know, like, don't go into it thinking that this is like, oh, you just press record and like, that's it. And like, you'll blow up eventually. Also, don't expect to blow up. I think the era of people just like overnight blowing up on TikTok, I don't want to say it's over, because like there still are quite a few people that happens to, but like don't don't wait for that moment, because that moment is only gonna bring you like instant gratification, and you can't hold on to it, because you could get 5 million views on a video, post the exact same video the next day, it could get 400 views. I don't know what the fuck it's all about, and I don't care to know, because it's not my business. My business is relaying my message to the people that want to join the community that I'm building online. You know what I'm saying? Also, don't rely on viral videos for followers, because a lot of them will leave. Like, if somebody follows you for your recipes and it goes viral, but the next video you post is a lipstick recommendation, maybe the people that follow you and have been following you understand that you talk about everything on your page, but the person that followed you for the recipe is gonna be like, why the fuck is this person showing me lip liner? Like, I don't remember following a beauty creator. So like, a lot of the like viral followers you get, they will go away. Not always, not all of them, of course, but there was one more thing that was like so important. Oh, if you do like have a video go viral or whatever, don't ride the wave. Like, stay on it, stay active, stay engaging in the comments, stay answering people's questions in the comments with videos. Like, be engaged, keep posting. Don't just say, oh, well, I did it, I can take a break and I can just like let this, you know, I'm getting like hundreds of new followers every single day. Like, no. Keep posting, keep the momentum going, because that was just like, it's like when you ask I don't know, it's like when you're trying to swing when you were little and you were like on the swing and you couldn't get started, and you're like, can you please push me? And somebody gives you a huge push. But if you stop pumping, you stop swinging your legs, the swing is going to slow down, it's going to stop. You can't rely on that push in the beginning to keep you going. You have to do the work to keep going. So that is everything I have to say about that topic. Now that this is like a 25-minute long video at this point, I think we might only do one more, because that was very long. And yeah, I really like giving you guys like the time and attention you deserve for each one of these topics. So I don't think I'll try to cram in 2 more. So let's see. Okay, this one says, feeling like the path you've had planned for so long is slipping away from you. Personally, I'm a senior in college thinking I wanted to go the pre-dental route, but truthfully, nothing about it excites me anymore, to the point I can't even focus and retain information in my classes. All I can focus on is when my next break is. Is that something that's just in my head, or should I take it as a sign that maybe what I thought I wanted to do isn't where my heart is pulling me anymore? Okay, that's a really tough one, and I think almost everybody has experienced that. I've experienced it, obviously not with like the college pre-dental route, but in my own life, like I've experienced it in my own ways. I know Mr. Special, my boyfriend, has experienced that. I know so many of my friends have experienced that. My mom has experienced that. Like, everybody experiences that, and I think on social media especially, people are like, oh, follow your heart, follow your dreams, like da-da-da-da. Sometimes, like, even if you love something so much, I'm gonna use social media for example, there are days that I wake up, and again, I'm not fucking asking for pity, and people always love to take this shit out of context, so don't take it out of context. There are days that I wake up and I literally, like, the last fucking thing I want to do is press record and talk to a goddamn camera. And when I say it out loud, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But it's that confusion of like, well, I love doing this, so why do I hate it right now? Why is this the last thing I want to do? And I think because people confuse like being passionate about something and loving something, they think automatically it'll always be something you want to do and it'll always be easy. That's not the case at all. That's the opposite of the case. Just because you love something and you're passionate about something does not mean it won't be a hard path. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path with no obstacles, no hurdles. It just means that you have to remind yourself why you're doing it. You have to remind yourself why you're doing it. And if you literally can't figure out why you're doing it and you want to just like jump off the side of the boat and leave and start something else, that's fine too. But I think those feelings are so, and I always say, you cannot rely on your emotions. You cannot rely on your emotions, because you could be laughing 1 second on TikTok, scroll to the next video, you're crying, okay? Why would you rely on something that can flip up that fast? Because you're not going to rely on a person that switches up that fast. So why would you rely on your own inner self that can switch up that fast? You need to rely on the plan you've set, the action you're taking. That's all you can rely on. You rely on logic. You don't rely on emotions. When my alarm went off at 4:58, I was like, oh my gosh, the last thing I want to do is wake up and go to the gym right now. All I want to do is sleep. All I want to do is sleep. So then, you know, my 4:58 alarm went off. I shut it off, and I have a 5 o'clock alarm. So that gives me 2 minutes of sleep. I was like, okay, like 2 more minutes. It's going to be so good. My 5 o'clock alarm went off. Oh my gosh, last thing I want to do is work out right now. I just want to sleep. I'm tired. No, bitch. I just slept. I had a whole night of sleep. Mentally, I'm tired, yeah, because my brain just turned on from being asleep. So of course, the instant gratification, the path of least resistance would be to stay in bed. But that's not what I actually want for myself, because I know that if I had done that, I would have woken up at, like, let's say 7 o'clock. I would have been like, oh my gosh, like, I feel so sluggish. I slept for too long. I didn't work out today. I haven't had water yet. I haven't done anything I was supposed to do today. I let myself down because I planned to do this and I didn't show up for myself. So yeah, is it hard to wake up early and go work out? Yes. It's way harder to deal with the feeling of like, wow, I really let myself down. I didn't show up for myself today. That is so much harder than just doing the shitty thing. Because the shitty thing isn't even that shitty. Literally, while I was on the stairs, I was doing 45 minutes of stairs, and I was like, I'm so fucking happy I'm here. Like, I literally, like, feel like I'm fucking high. I'm, like, so happy I'm here. I was watching my episode of NCIS. I was drinking my little Alani. Like, I was so happy. And here we are at 11:13. I'm already an hour ahead of schedule of my whole day that I have planned. Like, even just like when I plan out my weeks, like literally this is my Google Calendar, okay? Like if you girlies know, you know. Like this is my Google Calendar. We have my whole entire week planned out. Do you think I knew exactly what to do? Do you think that's something I like wanted to do on Sunday? Like think about literally every single thing I have to do for the next 6 days in a row? No, I want to just like watch a Christmas movie and go to bed and have hot chocolate. But like I care about myself enough to do the hard thing first. I care about my future self enough to continue doing something that maybe I don't love right now, but I really, deep down, I do love it. It's like when you and your mom, or like whoever you have a really good relationship with in your life, when you guys get in a fight and you're like, I can't fucking believe, like, I just did something so nice for her, and like, I can't believe she's mad at me. Like, why did I even do that nice thing for her? And like, yeah, in the moment, you're like, fuck you. 2 hours go by and you're like, okay, that was a little dramatic. Like, we're okay. I think too, with a lot of things, you need to remember why you're even doing it. You need to remind yourself why. And I think a really good way to do that is if you're into like journaling, scripting, or whatever, if you could write a letter to you now from your future self, what you're gonna do is basically write a letter to yourself now and just tell yourself every single thing you do. Say like, this is what our day-to-day lives look like. We did this. Like, I'm so proud of you for getting us through school. Like, you did so good, because guess where we are now? Like, we have this amazing career. We make this much money. This is how our social life is, all that stuff. And if you can get yourself excited for that again, that's so helpful, because it gets so easy to get just like so lost in like the why. You're like, well, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like, it's not paying off. It's literally just stressing me out. It's really hard. I don't like it. I'm not enjoying it. Of course you're not, because at the end of the day, realistically, who really loves taking notes? Who really loves to go to school and sit in a lecture and not be doing just like whatever you want to be doing? Nobody. We're humans. We want to take the path of least resistance. We want to be like, well, you know, that's like really, really hard, and I could just skip class today and sleep. But guess what? Tomorrow when you didn't go to class, you're gonna be a day behind, which is gonna stress you out more, which is gonna make you feel more unmotivated to get this shit done. So I really think it's just a matter of finding ways to make yourself excited again. For me, I love scripting. I love journaling. Even in my day-to-days, like you could get so consumed in reality and forget that there's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You really can. And so for example, like I was writing this one time and I was just like, okay, like, and I knew full well what my day was gonna look like, but I took this time to remind my subconscious of all the things and all the feelings I would feel if I had everything I wanted to have. So I was like, okay, like I woke up this morning and Mr. Special and I were in our beautiful like floor to ceiling window apartment and we made breakfast together. I woke up in my bedroom in my parents' house. I am approximately 8 hours away from Mr. Special. I made breakfast on my own. But writing that down allowed me to feel how it would feel if that was actually happening, because I was like, I could see it all panning out in my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's gonna be so fun. I can't wait for that to happen. Like it's so soon, like we're gonna have so much fun. And that just motivates me to do better in my day-to-day, because I know that eventually I will get to where I want to be. I just need to keep going. No matter how much I'm like, fuck this, like it's so boring, it's not working, I don't want to do it anymore. You can't do that, because you could do that for every single thing in your life. Why would you choose to do something that's going to make your life harder? You know what I mean? And you have to understand, just because you love it, just because it's something you're passionate about, doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple because it's like, well, yes, this is the formula. I love this thing. I'm passionate about it. This is the map that I have to take to get to the end goal. The map might have huge mountains that you're not equipped to hike up right now, and you'll have to climb up them without a harness, without a helmet, without a water, without snacks. And then, you know, once you get to a certain point, you're like, oh my fucking God, like I can't believe this. I can't believe this. You know that saying that's like, why, if you're going through hell, why would you stop in it? Because why would you stop in it? If you were going through hell, if you feel like this is just something so unbearable, why the fuck would you stop? You wouldn't. You would get out. You would get to the other side. If you get dropped in the middle of the ocean, you're gonna swim. Just swim, because eventually you will find land. You will find a boat. You will. Just go. Because when you're just sitting there, you're fucking like, what are you doing for yourself? You need to go. And sure, maybe you go 10 miles, 15 miles, 25 miles, there's no land. But guess what? You are 25 miles closer to land than you were before. And sure, maybe you're taking the long way, but guess what? At least you're going somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just expect all these things to be easy and feel good all the time, because that's not realistic. That's not how it happens, which is why you need to be good at setting up routines for yourself that make you feel good. Even if they're hard, they make you feel good. And that's what matters at the end of the day, okay? So, because this is almost 40 minutes long, I'm gonna go, and I hopefully had some piece of wisdom for both of you and for anyone else who is listening. But I will see you pretty princesses next Monday. And on that note, I hope you have a pretty princess day.